Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. This is Outer Rim Transmission, episode 185, and it is out of the Skeleton Crew era. We are back into the usual week-to-week Star Wars news, thoughts, discussions, breaking it all down. We have about 2.5 months before Andor, so this is our usual kind of thing for the next couple months, is just breaking down what's happening in the world of Star Wars. So getting into it, we have the full crew. We have Milton and we have Ben. How's it going, guys?
I'm good, man. It's nice to be back. Eagles, representing in the Super Bowl next week. I'm excited for it. But yeah, just ready to get into the podcast. Unfortunately, my computer's being stupid today, so I am podcasting from my phone.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And last time, I think you were calling it from Hoth, basically, 2 weeks ago or something like that. So here we go. We make it work any way we can.
Right. Yeah, you're not wrong.
What's going on, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, that's always the way to do it. I mean, you broadcasted from Hoth a couple years ago. I did it from Hawaii, so it just, it happens. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing good, just working out, getting ready for the Super Bowl, just like Milton, and it's gonna be exciting times, and just always looking forward to ending the weekend on here talking Star Wars with you guys.
Oh yeah. So, I'll start it off with my week in Star Wars here. It happened earlier today. Just the idea of getting to sit down and read Star Wars comics. I've been hoarding up a bunch of comics over the last couple months, and I have to, I get a stack of these things that I eventually find myself organizing them, putting them away, all that good stuff. And so today I was like, okay, let me get this job done. And while I did that, I said, you know what? The new Kylo Ren miniseries is coming out literally like on Wednesday, or not even miniseries, it's ongoing. It's called The Legacy of Vader. It takes place in between, like literally a minute after Last Jedi, and it goes right into the Rise of Skywalker, essentially. So there's this other book that Charles Soule wrote, and it's called The Rise of Kylo Ren. So I said, I'm going to read his last take on Kylo Ren. That was a miniseries, 4-issue miniseries. So got into it, really loved the idea of Kylo Ren becoming, or Ben Solo becoming Kylo Ren. You see like the Emperor's tempting him through the Force, even though he thought it was Snoke at the time, as we knew from Rise of Skywalker. This book also came out before COVID, so as I'm looking through the pages for like the preview of like the next issue, it says like on sale January 20th, and I was like, wow. What was I thinking? January 20th, 2020, like not a care in the world. And then like a couple weeks later, the world goes to crap. So it was kind of a fun nostalgia trip. And then I'm also thinking like, where was I at the time? Oh yeah, that was pre-COVID. So it's a crazy world we live in, but I enjoyed the heck out of it. Now I'm primed and ready for Wednesday for the next big ongoing Star Wars series. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always awesome getting excited for like a new, a new comic run, new stories in general like that, just to get excited about. I always, Star Wars, like books and comics and all that stuff are such like a big part of being like a hardcore Star Wars fan, like how we all are. So it's always good when like new interesting things come out.
Oh yeah. Hey Milton, just a quick audio test. I see you're on camera again with the PC. So unfortunately, the audio is still not coming through. Yeah, we're having an audio issue with Discord. We could see Milton, and I think he could hear us, but we can't hear him. So strange times. But we're gonna just keep on trucking through. I think he went back to phone. We'll have to figure out after this or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, what about you? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna just say, yeah. I mean, for my for my week in Star Wars, it wasn't anything really too exciting. It was just a normal week, really. Just scrolling through different content creators and things, and I was scrolling through the page Milton recommended a while back, that Skywalker Stories page, Milton on Insta. And it's cool because they actually chop up their videos from YouTube and like repurpose them and post clips of them on Instagram. So I was like scrolling through their Instagram reels a couple days ago, and it's just cool seeing what fans can do. Like they were like showing just different like things of like, Anakin's ghost talking to Leia and stuff like that, and just really cool. It's just really cool seeing fans do things, creatively like that, and just showing how much they love Star Wars. Like that's a lot of time to, go and animate and do voiceover and do all of these. Like I really, really have been enjoying that Skywalker Stories page.
Yeah, I got to check it out. I'm really not on Instagram. I'm basically just on Twitter and Facebook for the most part. So I haven't really seen a lot of short videos with that sort of thing.
Yeah, so again, I'm back to my phone. So this is live, people. We're not BSing you. But no, so like what Ben was talking about with the Skywalker stories, yeah, I got lucky finding that page, and I love seeing that type of stuff from fans. Like, to me, we've always had this discussion. It's amazing how fandom, how creative they can be, whether it's repurposing old stories or come up with something that's original. Like, the time and effort that they put into it is amazing. And I truly, I would hope, moving forward, and whether it's this property of Star Wars, Marvel, DC, that these creators get the opportunity to show what they can do, whether it's in TV, movies, radio drama, comics, because a lot of fans are very talented. They just don't have the resources like Disney or a CBS or MTV to back them up to pay for these type of things. And it just really is really nice to see that fans just love the property and they'll just put their time and effort in it to make something great.
Yeah, I really hope that some of these people out there that do this on their own dime and time do get calls from Lucasfilm, because some of it is just so good that these guys and girls deserve to work for the higher ups. Because we've seen it before. We've mentioned it many times. The Smook guy that did the deep fakes. Hey, he was working on Star Wars. He probably he still is, I imagine. So it's not unseen, but it's good. I mean, even at Celebration, they used to have, this is before I even went, they used to have like the fan awards every year, or every
George
celebration.
Lucas had them, yeah, before because Lucas was a big proponent of like Star Wars fans like going out and creating movies, because as we know, like he was we all know he's like upcoming when it comes to like filming things and like repurposing footage like from the old World War II documentaries and things and whatnot. And like, Lucas always like encouraged fans to do those types of like fan movies and different fan fan pieces of media like that. And yeah, they always had that at Star Wars Celebration back in the day.
Yeah, so that's, you guys send me this stuff. I'm like, I'll get to it, and then I forget. But it's definitely something I need to do more of. I should make a resolution. Watch more of these for the year 2025. We're already over a month in. I don't know if it's still even worth talking about New Year's resolutions over a month in, but there you go.
So I don't think I gave my week in Star Wars, but I think I might have one. Okay. I mean, you guys know that I am working on, getting married. Hopefully, actually, that's probably happening sometime this June. But I think I found a couple wedding bands that I liked, and one of them that I found is called the Anakin wedding band.
Dang,
and I sent it to my fiance this afternoon because it looks pretty awesome. And I was like, okay, like I might have to, get this. This might be on the list. Potential wedding bands for myself.
So what exactly does it look like? Does it invoke Vader or Anakin? Like, where do they get this from?
I mean, like, hold on one second. I'll pull it up right now. Give me a second. It's like silver. It's like dark, like silver and black. Yeah, I'll send it to you guys right now, like in our chat. But it's like a silver and black, you know. And I'm thinking, okay, like it just looks cool, man. I was like, okay, this works. Like I can this can work for me. You know what I'm saying? So like it's definitely something that my friend James he found for me. We were talking about it today. And we're like, yeah, man. He's like, that'd be kind of cool, Milton. It's like something you like. And I'm like, absolutely. So I'll probably send it to you guys later today or probably during the show.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Yeah, hey, having Star Wars as a part of your body for now and ever. That is literally it, right? So next to a tattoo of Star Wars, you got a ring on your finger all the time.
Yeah. And what's funny is like, I mean, because I didn't realize like it was, you know, the price range. And I looked at it. It's only like $200.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, so I just sent it to you guys in our group chat, so you should take a look at it. Like, it's pretty impressive.
We do a live reaction.
Yeah. Let's see
that. Let's see this thing.
I think. Oh yeah, that does look really cool, actually, Milton. I really like that design.
Yeah,
that is really neat, actually.
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I could actually get this in the chat. I'm doing this real time. I could try to get this on video here.
Yeah, that passes my inspection.
Let me see. Good. Let me save this and try to bring it in here in a moment.
Yeah, let's try to do our first ever, you know, wedding band reaction via Star Wars on the podcast.
Hey, this is some exclusive content, guys. You don't see this on any other Star Wars channels.
I gotta put a placeholder theme. Let me go through studio mode. We're doing some backroom stuff here as I'm trying to get this thing pulled up. It was a W. I hate these WEPP files, which don't actually allow me to put them in. So I had to take a screenshot. Let me take a screenshot of this page, and then I should be able to do it. Let me see. Okay. Sorry, this makes for such terrible podcasting. Everybody listening right now.
Well, hey, this is why they have to. You exclusively tune in for the on-screen content of this part of the show.
Yeah.
Images. Okay, let's try this.
Well, hopefully, the audience will appreciate this and give me some good positive feedback. Now, like, because when I saw it today, I was like, oh, I'm like, that looks cool. Like, it's got that rugged feel to it and look to it. And I'm like, all right, this is something that I think my fiance can probably compromise with me a little bit of what I'm asking for. Because Ben, I actually asked her if I can get the Lord of the Rings one ring.
Oh.
Yeah, for our wedding band. She wasn't trying to have that.
There we go. It was a success. I do have it on the stream right now, looking at it in all its glory. Yeah, this thing is chromed up. It's got. I like the middle black.
Yeah, that's where my eye draws to, is the middle black. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it really adds that detail, like the regalness of a Jedi's lightsaber. It's kind of like a Jedi lightsaber hilt, if you look at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What it was entailing. So I'm like, okay, because I'm thinking if it's like this is the Anakin or whatever it's called. Like if it's like the Vader, I'm sure it was going to be like red or something like that. Yeah, so I really, so I might go with that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Like a small Bento Sakura is saying the middle black is drawing her in.
Real prequel-esque, and I like it.
That's cool. All right, so fun times breaking down pictures of wedding bands that have to do with Star Wars. I never thought I could have said this on the podcast, but you never know what you could be tuning in for, I guess.
Absolutely. See, look, listen, man, we should just do a whole episode of what would a wedding look like in Star Wars land or something like that. You know,
there we go.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think the most in-depth knowledge we have in canon is actually the Princess and the Scoundrel novel with what is it called? With not Luke, Han and Leia, right after Return of the Jedi. They're on Endor, so that's good stuff there. Oh yeah, wait, we also have Anakin and Padme at the end of Attack of the Clones, right? Classic. Yep. So, all right. ready to get into the show proper. Yes, we go live Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern, except next Sunday we are taking a break for the Super Bowl. We're not trying to put up with the world's #1 streamed or watched thing in the world, so we will take a break next week. But I'm sure we'll have plenty of good stuff to come back to, which would be on Sunday, the 16th of February. But what we have out this week, or really, let me go back last week because this is worth noting. For people such as Milton and myself and Ben that are really nostalgic for the old video games, we have the Jedi Power Battles, Episode 1. Got a remaster from Aspyr. That's available as of January 23rd on all your major platforms. I was watching people play this. I actually did not buy it yet because I'm just in the middle of playing Ghost of Tsushima. But, you know, I'll probably grab it at some point if it goes on sale or something. I think it's only $20 anyway, but... definitely a hard game. I remember playing this game a heck of a lot as a kid. Actually, I played this game last year when I was at PAX East. I was playing it on the original PlayStation. They had a whole bunch of games you could play. I said, oh, that brings me back. And yeah, it's from what I've seen, they've up-res the textures. So like Qui-Gon actually looks like Qui-Gon and not like a smudge on the screen because, you know, you look back, you think back to a time when you're playing these games and you think it's the most groundbreaking graphics at the time. Like the polygons look so good at the time. You have these rose tinted glasses looking back, and then you look at the game from back then and you're like, dude, I can't even make out the guy's face. It's just a smudge. You know, it's like so this definitely needed a remaster. And from what I've heard from different videos, people say it's an easy recommend, but don't go in here expecting this game to be easy, because as we often say here on this channel, a lot of these older games do not hold your hand at the slightest, and they make you want to throw a controller out the window from time to time. So it seems like they retained, Aspyr retained the actual difficulty of the game. So
yeah, I mean, you get that with these older games. Like a few months back, I played through Halo 1, and man, like when they drop you in on the first mission, like there's like no direction or semblance of way to go or anything. It's like figure it out basically. And it's like, you know, when you have these 20 plus year old games, like, you know, they didn't hold your hand like that. And, you know, Star Wars is no exception. Like they were the same way back then. Like, you know, and we all remember, of course, like, you know, Jedi Power Battles, that was one of them. You know, of course, all the Super Star Wars games, those were always tough on Super Nintendo. Like there's so many different examples of it, but that was just kind of like how it was back then.
Yeah, so there you go. If you guys are looking for the first new Star Wars game of 2025, well, technically, Jedi Powers is the game. And, well, this makes me chuckle just simply because me and Matthew over on the Tractor Beam, we go live every Wednesdays on the Star Wars Underworld podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern. We had to sit through and review 6 comic books that came out all in a single day. No, Dark Horse didn't want to space things out. They just wanted to drop all 4 issues of a certain different comics, plus Marvel putting out 2. So if you are tapping into your life savings this week to buy comics, you could buy Ewoks #4. You could buy New Legacy #1, which is a one-shot. You could buy Echoes of Fear #4. You could buy Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone #4. You could buy the High Republic Annual, which is a one-shot, so it's larger and more money, and the High Republic 14. So yes, me and Matthew talked pretty economically. I think we did a good job of talking about 6 comics in less than an hour and a half. So that was good, but it's not my preferred way of reviewing comics at a split second speed. So if you want to know about all those in a little bit of depth, then go ahead and check out the Star Wars Underworld, where we'll be talking next week, as I mentioned, the aforementioned The Legacy of Vader #1. And that's the insult to injury, right? It's like the week before there were 6 comics. The week after, there's a single comics. Comic publishers, get your crap together, man. Like, it's not good when you're putting out 5-6 comics on the same day, because people, you know, they have budgets and they have time constraints. So I know I'm complaining about more Star Wars content, but sometimes it feels like there's a freaking flood of it. It's not necessary. All right. So speaking of comics, this is actually something that broke right after we basically did our podcast 2 weeks ago. And that is, we got the announcement of a brand new ongoing Star Wars series. That means it's going to be going on for at least 25 to 30 issues, maybe more. And that is Star Wars #1. Simply put, it's basically the continuation of what Han, Luke, and Leia are doing after the Battle of Jakku, which is, that first year after the Battle of Endor. So we are getting into that space of time where there's really nothing there. Besides one book by DJ Older called First Shot, which is Han and Lando. It jumps around in time, but it is 2 years after Return of the Jedi, and there's like a baby boy Ben Solo running around. So this is pretty cool because it's like, all right, the comics are, they're going to take a stab at this pretty much like unexplored moment in time. Like, we've seen Luke obviously in The Mandalorian, so that's after Return of the Jedi, but this is a couple years before that. So we're going to continue to see like what's Luke doing out there. Is he exploring, trying to find more Jedi tomes and different things like that? What's Leia doing with the Senate of the New Republic, a fledgling new government? What's Han Solo doing? Is he still having one toe in the underworld? There's a whole lot that could be going on. I'm going to actually read from the source itself at Marvel. Let me see. The New Republic defeated the last remnants of the Empire at the legendary Battle of Jakku, but the greatest threats to its success are just emerging in this transformation period of Star Wars lore that fans have long been eager to witness. Join the franchise's most iconic characters as they navigate a galaxy brimming with distrust, conspiracy, and mystery. From Luke's early challenges in restoring the Jedi Order to Leia and Han's continuing romance that led to the birth of Kylo Ren, this new landscape of stories represents Marvel's most revelatory contributions to the Star Wars mythos yet, and fans can look forward to additional series set during the same time frame to launch after this. Wait, what? I'm just identifying. I don't know if Marvel edited this webpage since, but this is like breaking news that I don't even know if anybody else reported on. Because no one else had said that they're getting more series that are going to tie in. So basically what I'm trying to parse out here, and I'm going to have to tell Matthew now, is when you have the main ongoing, there's always a Darth Vader book that ties in. There's always a Dr. Aphra book there's tying in. There's always a Bounty Hunters ongoing book that might tie in, just like in the 2020 comics. So that is the confirmation that we'll probably be getting another Dr. Aphra series, maybe another Bounty Hunter series. So that's cool to know. Comics are crazy because now we have Jedi Knights, which is the prequel ongoing comic. That starts in March, and then we have the Legacy of Vader, which I keep talking about, which is coming out literally this week, and now we have this plus some more. So there's Marvel is not slowing down with the content. This is the content I've been looking forward to, because it's like, okay, when they first announced Star Wars was coming back in 2014 or 2012, whenever that was, it was like, okay, what are Luke, Han, and Leia doing this whole 30-year period? Now we know they're going to be older in The Force Awakens. What's happening before then? I didn't know what form that would take, whether it would be a series, whether it be animation, but it's interesting to know it's going to be comic books. So I don't know, Ben, what do you think about this? I know you've wanted an animated series with Luke Skywalker for a while, but what are your thoughts on Lucasfilm finally kind of getting into this unexplored territory after years?
Yeah, I would say, for one, I mean, it is good they're exploring this, but for two, we are about 11 years late on this, because like I don't know, this sort of thing should have been the build up to Force Awakens, in my opinion. Like, because this like, I'm not gonna lie, because of all of our experiences we've gone through with Star Wars lately over the past several years now, the ups and downs, I've my trust is shaken with the brand. So now it's like okay, rewind. So if this was 2014, Ben, I would be pre-ordering this comic and probably the first 5, 6, 7 issues of it. But now that, things have gone the way they've gone, now it's like, I'll just wait until several issues come out and I hear what you're saying and hear what other folks are saying before I dive into it, because, I'm skeptical about certain things with it. But overall, like, it's good that they're finally like doing this, because that's been my main critique of a lot of the non on screen materials. Like, we're getting these stories about these random people that like nobody really knows, whatever, which new characters are fine and everything. They totally are. But like, to get more of like, say, the more, I don't know how to put it, but like, to get more and more people involved with the off-screen material, the best way to do it is with a lot of the main characters. And we've been lacking a lot of the original big three stories, so now it's nice that we're going to be getting a lot of issues of this comic with them. So I'm very excited and interested to see what they have to say and offer. So it's more, I would say it's like skeptical optimism, I would say.
Yeah, right. It's the thing that I think, this is Alex Segura, who just finished the Battle of Jakku, and I like what he did with Luke. I think he's very adept at handling the big three. That was kind of his trial, I guess. Like, okay, let's see what this guy's going to do writing Luke, Han, and Leia, which is something that no one's really done in this era, and he's done that really well so far. So I have faith that he's going to pull it through. Plus, Phil Noto is on the art. Phil Noto is a classic. He usually does a lot of the covers, but every once in a while, like in the Poe Dameron comics by Charles Soule, he does really good artwork there too, really colorful, not exactly like realistic like Salvador LaRocca, which is probably a good thing because most people hated his kind of artwork in the Vader series, but it's more like animated, I guess you could say. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to see, hey, who's there after Return of the Jedi? We have a lot of characters. The fates are kind of unknown, so it's going to be fun catching up with different characters, setting up the future. I don't know how big a swing they could take with these things, right? You always get excited, like, oh, what's this era going to bring? I mean, you have Moff Gideon in the background there with the remnant of the Imperials. You have Byler Valance in an issue of the Battle of Jakku saying something about, there's these things going on in the unknown regions, and I immediately got my thoughts going, is it the Gris? Because it's Yuzan Vong. I don't know if that's a thread that Alex is going to follow up with his ongoing now. With something down there, because we know Byler Valance is going to be in this again. So, hey, let's pick up on that again. But again, that's the thing, Milton, is these are comics. These are read by a fraction, and I mean a fraction, of the entire Star Wars fan base. So I don't know how far they can really push this. But yeah, I do. If you have anything to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Ben on this, in the sense this should have been the lead up to The Force Awakens, or at least just to the sequel trilogy in general, because we all can agree that this timeline or this period, it's quite criminal and egregious that Disney Lucasfilm did not cover this leading up to the return of Star Wars at that time, which was, a 10-year period. Now we're looking at 2025, which has been a 10-year period since the release of The Force Awakens. So, yeah, I'm glad they're getting to it now, but it's 10 years too late. Or actually, it's more like 12 years too late, because they should have been promoting this in 2013, 2014, which should have led into The Force Awakens, which I think, even though that movie of the trilogy is the better one, it could have strengthened that story significantly, in the sense of giving us some backstory of like, okay, this is what Luke's been doing. This is what Han's been doing. Leia. Actually, the biggest piece would have been what has been the Republic / First Order been up to. Understanding that world, I think that could have been significantly beneficial to all of us, because honestly, going into that film, when I watched the Force Awakens, I said, how did we get to here? Like, I thought everything was all good, but then obviously we had some of the books that came out, but I felt like, I think Disney and Lucasfilm probably thought, well, the audience isn't stupid. They will figure it out that, hey, the world is what it is because of what it is. I hear that, but when it comes to Star Wars, you need to give us everything. I mean, convolute the hell out of it, because we always want the morsels, honestly. So, but I'm excited that there's something coming out that covers this period. You're right, it is a comic book series. However, I tend to watch the reviews online, and I watch your reviews. So obviously, if it's good enough for high praise, and of course, then that might inspire me to grab an issue or two and check it out.
Yeah, but it's a good thing about these comics are you can get the trade paperbacks, which will be a lot cheaper, about like $5 cheaper than if you were to buy each comic individually, right? You got that collector thing. That's why the prices go up on these things individually. But yeah, there's a thing called trade raiders for good reason. And I feel like I don't actually have knowledge on this, but I feel like Marvel probably makes a good penny when it comes to those things, because I mean, I like the collected editions. They're nice and easy to read, and they're good quality paper and all that good stuff. But yeah, we will only have to wait and see. This one comes out in May, by the way. It comes out in May. There's a free comic book edition issue that has one of the side stories of Luke, and then the following week, I think we get the Luke one. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of artwork and different things at Celebration Japan, which is just around the corner. We're just a little bit over 2 months away now. We could really say the journey to Celebration has really begun. But the journey of something has ended, and it ended in a way that I wasn't expecting. And that is what has happened to the Galactic Starcruiser. Yes, the Star Wars hotel that basically most of us could not afford because it was like $5,000 a night. Well, according to, let's see, this Orlando outlet, WESH2, I guess just radio station or something. Apparently that entire building, which has been standing this entire time, it is now an Imagineering office, which is like the people that do the, I think basically the rides and stuff. So what a way to come down off of that. This building costed like $1 billion to make, and they can't turn it into something better than just an office building. Like, what's going on here?
Look, listen. This is why you're going to hear it in my voice. There's no surprise here. You know, like I remember the day, not the exact day when we first heard about this, but the podcast we did to discuss this whole, abomination of an idea was like, we're like, this will not work. We all were saying, no, this isn't going to work because of the pricing, how they tried to market it. We're just like, this is going to fail. And look what we did. Wasn't there another article like a year or two ago about this not really being a thing that's successful?
Yeah, it was like the final ride of it or something.
Yeah, and I'm like you wasted all that potential, and I feel like they didn't think it all the way through, in the sense of like what type of entertainment this is going to be, what type of person can afford it. It's like pretty much the only people that could afford it were billionaires and trillionaires, and honestly it wasn't worth my while even just hearing about what it offered. 2 nights, and you really don't get nothing else included with it. Like, are you serious? And so I'm not shocked to hear this.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know. I was gonna correct you, Chris. We got to cut them some slack. You said $5,000 for a night. It's $5,000 for 2 nights there, actually.
Oh,
so so you get a couple nights, not just one.
Yeah, but still egregious. That's a crime.
5,000. You could probably go on an actual cruise for like a month with that. Like
you probably could get pretty close. Yeah,
cheap. $1,500. You can get more out of that.
Yeah, it's just like you said, Milton. It's not surprising at all. I guess for the people working there, it's cool because you're sitting around in like a Star Wars thing that used to be a Star Wars property, I guess. But other than that, other than the people working there, just getting to hang out, it's no surprising this is what happened. And that's why, I mean, heck, honestly, the repercussions from this is probably what's carried over to a lot of the things on the movie side and the TV side, where now it's like Disney's having to recoup a lot of their money, so it looks like we're transitioning away from a lot of these things like that, like the streaming series and so on. That's why we're having to go back more toward the movie theater for this franchise, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish they could have come up with a cheaper plan. Don't take all the RP elements out of it and just open a darn thing and let people just stay there. That would cut the prices down by 10 times, because I mean, I guess they, a lot of the money was probably put towards these actors that are acting constantly all the time, these activities. Take that element out and just let people stay in a Star Wars hotel. It's that simple. I don't know why that couldn't work.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the simplest thing they could have done, and we could have made it work. Seriously, you're telling me I don't need I don't need, cosplayers to help me enjoy my time at a Star Wars land or hotel that looks and feels authentically like a Star Wars universe. That's all I need is just the setting. I can make everything
Yeah.
else. We
Yep.
can make things work for ourselves because we all have imaginations.
Yep.
You're telling me if we all brought our significant others or people that we love to a place like that, we couldn't have figured it out and say, hey, let's try and reenact this, or hey, let's go to this little like gala, or let's go to the opera from like Revenge of the Sith, try to reenact that scene. Like I'll play Palpatine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
For real. Well, Milton, here's an idea. I can't take credit for this because my cousin thought of this. We were talking about this over the weekend. Just imagine, like, in this hotel, if they would have, like, like you said, cut out some of the cosplaying stuff, whatever. If you want to have the actual employees just dressed up in generic Star Wars costumes, so be it. But just imagine, like, if the pool area, you have the whole pool area. Say, like, he came up with this idea, so I was like, dude, you should be working for them. So he said, just imagine if, like, you had like a bar and like spa area that was designed and set up kind of like Jabba's sail barge, and then the pool area was like a circular pool, and like all the painting and like the bottom designs on the pool looked like the Sarlacc pit, and then you have the diving board to jump in and like all this stuff. And I was like, dude,
man.
like that sort of thing, like, that would be more fun in my opinion for us than like a lot of the like just like cosplaying whatever, because it's like, oh hey, you're getting to be like Luke jumping into the Sarlacc or whatever. And like I just think, like you said, Chris, those types of things, if they would just have checked off some of those basic things and just opened the doors and said, go explore the hotel, have fun, whatever, I think people would have had this would have been a success if it was just like a normal, say like a higher end thing, like maybe like 150, $200 a night or something for something like this versus 2,500 a night.
Yeah, they could have still had the option, like 1 or 2 rooms has access to like make it the VIP experience where they pay the $5,000 for the 2 nights to get the itinerary and all that. But anybody else can stay for a 1 night for $300 or something. It was just like that could have been it, but yeah. It's just so unceremonious to see how it just becomes an office building. Like, they don't even demolish. I was expecting them to completely demolish it or something, but no, we're going to use it for just office space. Like, that just seems like the craziest, ironic thing that happened to this thing. Oh, man. All right. So, our big discussion for the night is hovering around some very interesting news, rumors really, but this comes from the Hollywood Reporter, and if you hear something from them and it's corroborated by like 20 other news sites, it's probably most likely like 99% gonna happen. And that is this: Ryan Gosling is in talks to star in Sean Levy's new movie for Star Wars. We don't know anything about the movie because guess what? The movie was never even officially announced in the first place. So we're kind of in the dark on that. There's rumblings, right, Ben, that it could be set, what'd you say, after Rise of Skywalker or before the Force Awakens? When is?
I think one of the trades, like I think it was Deadline actually implied it was after Rise. And then, yeah, there's a lot of like rumblings and things around this movie. And like you said, it's Ryan Gosling, Ryan Gosling, Sean Levy, like you're getting these like big A-list people into the movie side of Star Wars. And, like you mentioned, it just brings us into our big topic of the night. Like, should we have these like big A-listers, like especially on-screen people starring or being a big part of Star Wars? Because the one thing I was going to like kind of throw onto the table for this discussion too, is like, so like when they say he's gonna star in the movie, the thing is though that doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna be the lead of the movie, because like you could say who's like a kind of a B-level character, and I don't know, you could say like Domhnall Gleeson was set to star in The Force Awakens or something, because he was in the movie a significant amount, but he wasn't the lead. So that's the only thing I'd like to throw out there is like, he may not be the lead of this movie, but he could be.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is you're looking at this, and from what I know, this is like the first occurrence of a of an A-list actor appearing in Star Wars. I'm going to read through his IMDb. La La Land, The Notebook, Drive. We got The Nice Guys. You know, the thing I know him from, late to the party on this actor was I seen him in Blade Runner 2049, you know, picking up the legacy of Harrison Ford. And then obviously Barbie. Like, this is as big of an actor I think we've ever gotten. It's one thing to have somebody like Max von Sydow, you know, in Force Awakens, and we're all rumbling about, oh, who's he going to be? This big character. He dies in like the first 30 seconds of the movie. Like, I don't count somebody like him, even though he has a crazy legacy. He is a side character as a side character gets. So that doesn't count. You know, you got Han, Luke, and Leia. Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill. When they were casted, they were basically nobodies. I mean, Harrison Ford was, you know, an American Graffiti, but he wasn't a household name or anything yet. So
right.
You go back, you know, all these people from Samuel L. Jackson in the prequels. Like, yeah, but he wasn't carrying the movie. He was more of a side character.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
he wasn't carrying. He was very much a support. I think the only one I can think of is obviously Sir Alec Guinness back in the 70s, because he was an Oscar winner. He was known for being like a very dramatic actor. I think he won an Oscar. Yeah, Liam Neeson later for the prequels. Yeah, so Liam was that prequel actor who led the charge of big name. Alex was the original trilogy. I mean, and honestly, it was Samuel Jackson. James Earl Jones at that time was very established, you know, in the 70s with his stage presence with some of the movies that he was doing. So he and Alec Guinness, I guess, led the charge. And I guess Peter Cushing is that third one because he was hot and rich. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not unprecedented, but I think nowadays a lot of franchises tend to want to start new franchises with unknowns, but I mean sometimes you need star power to like kind of drive something to.
Well, that's what I was gonna bring up to you guys. So one of my buddies who always tunes in, Alex, he was texting me about it, and he's like, "Oh, I saw your guys' title for tonight's show," and you know, he was kind of saying along the lines that you're saying there, Milton. Like, you know, with Star Wars right now, I feel like they potentially could need some of the star power to get butts back in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Here's the thing. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quick, because like, you know, we all love Star Wars and everything, but it's not what it was when Force Awakens was around. You know, so like in terms of viewership, interaction, social media, everything. So like the thing is to get people like kind of reignited. You know, you have to throw in some big name actors. I mean, look, Jude Law was in Skeleton Crew. He was well received. Even, you know, people forget just because he wore a mask. Pedro Pascal? Pedro Pascal was lighting up Hollywood as the sword guy in Game of Thrones. Like, you know, he was huge.
The Red Viper.
Red Viper, yeah.
Over in Martell.
Like, you know, you have him in there. And like there was a lot of buzz about him getting into Star Wars.
Right.
So you have those things. It's just,
here's the thing though with that is he was basically the same thing with James Earl Jones. They were the voice actors pretty much. Well, definitely James Earl Jones. So like that's one thing. Like, yeah, you could have a voice because it's not equating in my head that's the actor's face half the time because it's the helmet. So, but that's where this comes in, right? It's like, okay, you have somebody that is so recognizable, like Ryan Gosling, and he's just on your screen in a Star Wars. It's like, is this like that? It's gonna be very interesting to see. Like, first of all, like what they do. Do they do a lot with his face? Do they change anything? Do they make his hair like super super long or something, and color it black or something crazy to like completely make us think like he is like in Star Wars? Because if he shows up like he looks like Ken or somebody in this movie, it's like, wait a minute, is it going to take me out of it? That's my only worry, right? And I think that's the risk you run is when you have somebody as famous as this guy showing up in Star Wars. Does it look like a Spaceballs situation or something, or is this almost like a spoof of Star Wars? Like what's happening? Do we expect this guy to have a singing number at any moment here? What's going on?
Right. Well, here's the thing. I'll answer it twofold. So when it comes to Ryan Gosling, I've seen him in multiple types of movies and seen him as multiple type of characters. Like in the movie Drive, I don't know if you've seen that or if you've seen the
really good
Gray
movie.
Man. Yeah, the Gray Man, where he plays like a CIA spy. He's not like a pretty boy in those movies. Like he was a good looking guy. Let's keep it 100. But he's not one of those characters where you see him on screen, you're like, I don't believe that he can be a badass. Like I believe it in those two movies. I believe that he's that spy and he's that driver that can wreck shop. As for like an actor taking you out of a movie or whatnot, guys, we already have the example of a character that we want a famous actor to play. Darth Revan. Everyone thinks that's Keanu Reeves, dude. So, like, no, I'm being serious. Like if you legit, I mean, because in that thing I sent you guys about the Star Wars story, he does Darth Revan's character multiple times, and it's Keanu Reeves' face, and it's his voice, and it's like, yes, I believe that's Revan. I don't see John Wick. I don't see X, Y, and Z. I don't see Jack Traven from Speed. I see Revan. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is built to play Revan. So if they do an Old Republic series or stories, he's the only one I want to play Revan. Like, that's and it's not that low. Oh, I see Keanu Reeves. I see him as that character. Because literally, go ahead.
Oh, go on.
No, I'm just saying, like, I believe that how they wrote that particular character, Revan, I guarantee you that particular author or whoever developed the character probably thought, I can see Keanu Reeves maybe doing this. Like, he had to have inspired that. And it's like, he fits the character.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. I think the big example of it, guys, that we're overlooking and that everybody's overlooking when it comes to this, should A-list big celebrities be in Star Wars? I mean, let's rewind clear back in history to 1977. There's a little movie called Star Wars that comes out, and Harrison Ford pops off as the next big like Hollywood star up and coming, and then he's popping off in Indiana Jones. And when you watch Indy, you're not seeing Han Solo. You're seeing him portray a different character. So I think the thing like we're overlooking is the fact that these actors, the A-list actors, they're accomplished for a reason. Like look at Jude Law. Look at obviously Rosario was painted up, but Rosario Dawson, like, I wasn't seeing Rosario Dawson, I was seeing Ahsoka. So it's just like, I think, or even, I mean, heck, even if you want to go look at Boba Fett, I don't see him as Aquaman's dad, like, so I think when it comes to the big actors, it matters who you get. And it's different too, I think, as well, Milton. Like, Ryan Gosling is an A-list actor.
Yes.
Versus a superstar. Like, I would be very apprehensive if you had like Dwayne Johnson leading a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, there's no way. Like, if he is, you have to cover his face. Yeah. Like, you have to make him an alien.
Yep. That's my thing. I think when people think A-list actors, they think, they like Ryan Gosling's an A-list actor, but they automatically correlate that with like Dwayne Johnson or Arnold or someone like that that are like, they're bigger than the entire movie industry.
Right. Here, okay, so I'll give you another example. So another A-list, honestly, he's an A-list, but he's probably higher than Ryan Gosling. Idris Elba. Elba is an actor that I think can fit into Star Wars. And you can either cover his face or you can keep him uncovered because he's that good of an actor where you would believe that he's in this universe.
Dude,
like, go ahead.
He's got to finish the trifecta. He was in DC, the Suicide Squad. He was in Heimdall or whatever in Thor. Make him complete the trilogy, the triumvirate.
Yeah. bring him over. I mean, like if they made him like, let's say they like the Rey movies were like 10 years after Rise Skywalker. If they want to make him like a Jedi who was like a kid back in the day who escaped. And he's actually been like, I will believe it. I'm like, yeah, Idris Elba's a Jedi, dude. Like, I could believe that.
Yeah.
Like, he's that good of an actor.
Yeah.
Like, he played one of the greatest characters in the show called The Wire, and people didn't know he was British at the time, and he convinced us that he was an American. You know what I'm saying? Like, like he convinced us that he was an American drug dealer living in Baltimore in The Wire. Like, that's how good of an actor he was, or is.
Yeah. He's a great actor. I would love to see him in Star Wars. There's so many roles I'd love to see Idris in, like Star Wars.
Like Benedict Cumberbatch would be another one that can fit the Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wait.
He was.
There was rumors going up into the Force Awakens. The guys over at the Star Wars Underworld had this part of their show where they would go #Cumberwatch because he was rumored to be in that movie for the longest time.
Yeah, like he could play Palpatine if he wanted to.
That's I think what he was going to be playing maybe is Palpatine.
I'm fine with it. Like he can pull it off, and he's worldly known now for being Doctor Strange and doing the Sherlock series and stuff like that. But he's that type of an actor where he's so good at being into the character and transforming into the character. I would believe whatever character he creates in Star Wars.
Yeah. So we have a comment from Alex Elkins in the chat saying, I would say majority of the regular fan base, kind of the casual fans, have left the Star Wars fandom. One of the only chances we have to get them back is to bring in huge A-list actors, because the Star Wars fans are going to go regardless to see this movie, right? You want to get like the mainstream audience back. So yeah, they might feel like, okay, Star Wars has kind of been okay. Oh, wait, there's this huge actor in there? Like, actually, I'm very curious to see what's going to go on. He was really good in Barbie. He was really good in Blade Runner. I remember him from way back in time in The Notebook. I'm very curious. Like, that could actually draw people in. So maybe this is the new strategy, right? Star Wars, Bob Iger, everybody kind of reshuffled Lucasfilm's plan when, these movies weren't working. 7 years later, we're finally getting a movie, hopefully, with The Mandalorian. But what is their strategy going forward? I think I would be more worried about this if this was right in the beginning of the Force Awakens sequel trilogy era. But I think at this point they have to try something new.
Right, I agree. And here's the thing: if they're going to use a main actor, I'm already thinking. I'm putting it together right now. So Disney, Lucasfilm, if you're listening, this is my idea. Please credit me because I'm going to give you a banger right now. If you're going to use an A-list actor, let's say a Ryan Gosling type, I'm not going to use Ryan Reynolds because he's not a character actor. You know what I'm saying? Can't use him. But like Ryan Gosling, let's say Idris Elba, Christian Bale, or who would I say? Keanu Reeves. If he used those guys, right? Let's say you use Idris. He can play Darth Bane. You want to know why? Because Darth Bane started off as some like innocent kid or whatever who got abused by his dad. If you don't know that, go read the books, read the trilogy.
Amazing.
If you take his character of Bane as like a young kid or young adult, whatever, show him in his trilogy as he's growing up and he gets abused and he discovers the Sith and all that stuff like that, he could transform into that character and you will believe that he's Darth Bane. Like imagine Idris Elba making that transformation into Darth Bane, and at the end of that trilogy, he's concreted as that character. Then you have someone like, let's say I'll use like a Henry Cavill. He could be Darth Malgus from like the Old Republic, where he's wearing like the suit, he got the shaved head, he's a little bit pasty, and all of a sudden he's turned into that formation of Darth Malgus where he's got the burn face, he's wearing the respirator, and he's attacking the Jedi and he's wiping them out. Like he's doing the Sith War. You know what I'm saying? Like, or have Ryan Gosling play the twins from the old Republic games. Play the twins. He can pull that off. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine Ryan Gosling as the what's the Sith King who was Valkyrian or something, whatever his name is.
Valkyrian.
Yeah, Vitiate.
Vitiate, yeah.
Imagine Ryan Gosling being the son of that guy, the twin boys. I'm telling you right now. I just wrote you guys $4 billion worth of movies.
Well, I'm very curious. I don't mean to digress very much, but I mean, the High Republic is ending in June. We know that the Old Republic is an official thing. We've seen it at the last celebration when they put the whole glorious timeline there for everybody to see. I hope that at Japan they show us like a glimpse. Okay, we are going to do projects in the Old Republic. I don't know if they'll announce anybody. I actually fully expect, though, Ryan Gosling to step onto the stage for like the Lucasfilm presentation. Yep. Hey, we got a new movie, Sean Levy, coming out 2027. Here you go. Right. But
yeah, that'd be hype. And here's the thing. And here's my idea of who can play the Sith Emperor or the Sith King. Vitiate. Tom Cruise with a beard, right there.
Yeah, that actually would work.
Like, imagine him as a Sith, like the Sith King of the old Empire, and then all of a sudden Ryan Gosling's like his twin boys, and they show that evolution of like one of them turning to the dark side, the one's still a part of the light kinda, and they have that conflict. And I'm telling you, like, the cinematics are right there. Use those stories and put those actors in that role. I just wrote you $5 billion right there.
Well, that's the thing. Like when it comes to like these actors like this, like for all those roles that you just mentioned, Milton, like, you know, the difference between like just getting an unknown to play them and an A-list actor is an A-list actor knows how to like get into character better potentially. Like, you know, the easy example always is Christian Bale, but look at his career. Like he went from like, you know, just thinking from early 2000, like think American Psycho, he was like jacked, and then he starved himself for The Machinist, and then a year later he was Batman, like 100 pounds heavier, like, and you know and then back and forth from like The Fighter and everywhere else, like, you know, all of these roles. It's like these A-list actors, they really know how to like bring it home.
Right.
And you know, like it just makes me wonder, like, you know, how this would be. And like I said, you know, he may star in the movie, but he might not be the lead. So it's just gonna be interesting to see what they do with Ryan Gosling. But if this is in fact happening, then I feel like he would be at Celebration.
Yeah. And I got another one too. I'm throwing out great ideas. Again, Disney, I got you. Tom Hardy. He can play either Bane or Malgus.
Oh, he's got to play Bane. He's got to play.
Easily.
I would love to see him as Bane.
Yeah, easily. Like right there, I wrote y'all the movies, dog.
That's what I mean, and they're all Old Republic. See, I love the Old Republic. Bring it to life on the big screen. There's no better way. I don't care. Don't put it on Disney Plus. Disney Plus won't have a big enough budget to represent hundreds of Sith and Jedi going at it at once. I hate to say it, but it's not going to work there. You got to make it a movie series, not just 3. Make it like 5. Make it 6 movies that span and have books going in between them to tell them more stories of different side characters. There you go. Let's blow the doors open at Japan this year. Bring out all these different actors. This is where we're going next. There you go.
Chris, I'm at the point where, you know, like we need to write a couple screenplays, give them to you. Take them over to Japan and say, Kathleen, listen, my boys on the podcast wrote these screenplays. These are the actors that could play these lead roles. Pay us for our stories. We got you. Let us executive produce them with you. We good.
Oh, man, it sounds like a wonderful dream, man. It sounds like a wonderful dream.
I'm telling y'all, man. Like, listen, I don't care what anyone tells me. Anyone listening to this podcast today, you tell me I'm crazy for saying what I'm saying, because you're telling me you can't see Tom Hardy playing Darth Malgus or Darth Bane. Tell me that you can't. You're crazy. You're telling me that you can't see Keanu Reeves playing Darth Revan. You can. How about Idris Elba? He can play Bane or Malgus. That's another one. Ryan Gosling, he can play the twins. You know, if you gruff him up a little bit. And then his dad could be either Christian Bale or Tom Cruise, like bearded up. Dude, like they play menacing characters where they're so like manipulative, but they pull you in, but you're like, you shouldn't trust them, but you know they're selfish. Like, they can play those roles, man.
Here's what you do. I have the vision. And I'm probably giving them too much stuff, but we'll have to do a whole other podcast on this kind of thing because it's fun. But I could imagine Ben, like this, like connected, like MCU like universe for the Old Republic, where it's like you give us the first movie is like the Bane trilogy, and in the Bane trilogy, we know from the Bane books that he's looking at holocrons of Revan and of other characters, and that's where we'll get like the first look at, he'll be looking at a holocron of Revan and see Keanu Reeves talking to him. And then we'll see Malgus in another one in the third movie, and those are like backdoor pilots to those other movies. Then you build out this entire Old Republic universe over the course of a decade with all these other movies that tie in like very broadly with like little cameo things here and there, but it's a way to seed in these characters, and next thing you know, this is popping off left and right, and we don't ever have to hear about the discourse online because everybody's going to unanimously love these movies.
Yeah, easily. And like and here's the thing: we're also forgetting about the main female of that series or of that generation of Star Wars is Satele. Can you imagine who could play Satele? You know what I'm saying? Like, she'd be fire. Like, listen, I can go on for days.
Yeah, that's that's a good place to end it. I think we'll end on a very, very high note of optimism and foresight into the future. So let us know after the fact, after you guys watch this, what are some of your favorite fan castings that you would put in for a Star Wars movie? And also answer the question in the title. Do you think A-listers should be a lead in a Star Wars movie from here until whenever? Let us know in the comment section down below. You can also hit us up individually on all of our social platforms. Milton, where can the people fire off their crazy ideas to you, man?
Well, if you follow me on Twitter at MiltonWeber7, like, that's fine. Hit me up. Seriously, like, you can give me so much information about who would you think would be a great lead, because that's a very it's very much like fan like booking or fan like booking wrestling matches. Like, you know, like people like Ben, you would know, like growing up, you was like, oh, who would be the best like against WCW versus WWE? You know what I'm saying? Like, I love these conversations. So like, or who's your top 5 running backs or top 5 basketball players? Yeah. Like, this is the type of conversation I really enjoy. So this is perfect for Star Wars. So hit me up on Twitter at MiltonWeber7 or on Instagram at Milton7Weber. Also, if you have any like thoughts or ideas about the wedding band that Chris popped up on the screen, let me know. Like I said, I'm torn between the Anakin or the Black Panther one that I found, because they're really cool too. So, but yeah, hit me up on the socials. I really do appreciate you guys listening and watching.
Do you have anything to say elsewise about a certain event next week?
Oh, yeah, man. Right. Listen, this is what we need to do, guys. I'm gonna rally us right now. Okay. Everyone needs to be behind Philadelphia because of Saquon Barkley. He's a difference maker. He's the truth. He's a good guy. He's a humble guy. He's a great athlete. You know, Philadelphia is a great sports town and sports city, and the Eagles is a great franchise that deserves to win another Super Bowl. No one needs to see Kansas City win for the three-peat, okay? Nobody wants to see that unless you live in Missouri. So let's go. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's get it all day, every day. Woo.
There we go. There we go.
Yes, I mean, I don't know where I can lead off from that, but I'm definitely agreeing with you. I hope the Eagles win on Sunday. I'm thinking it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like a 29-27 Eagles win.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be a good one. And if anyone wants to find me talking about the NFL or Star Wars or fitness, or Arrow, I mean, heck, I've been rewatching that lately too. You can find me at Real Ben Maynard on X or at Real Ben Maynard on Instagram. And yeah, thanks everybody who listened tonight.
Hey, listen, we appreciate you guys for sure. Like I said, please share, subscribe, share with your friends. This is a fun podcast. As you guys heard us tonight, we love having good energy, and we love talking Star Wars and sports or just fun stuff in general.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat tonight, from Chris Forsyth to Small Bento Secura to Aaron Daly to Alex Elkins to Skywalker's Academy to Thrawn Kill, who also says, I'm a Raiders fan, but I'm here. So go. So he says, Raiders fan here, go Eagles.
Who's that guy? Was it Thrawn Hill?
Thrawn Kill.
Listen, Thrawn Kill. Look, I'm a big fan of you guys getting Pete Carroll, so I am pulling for Vegas to get their shit together and start.
And they just hired Chip Kelly, Milton.
Yeah, I just saw that. So like, I'm all about Pete Carroll, except for he's cost Seattle a second Super Bowl. But other than that, though, he's a great coach. So I'm rooting for Vegas to start getting back with it.
There you go. There you go. And you can find me over here on this same channel that you're watching right now. If you're watching on any of the podcast platforms at Outer Rim Transmission, you can look for us live in 2 weeks' time. That, again, is going to be February 16th, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Guys, this is a fun episode. I love these kind of episodes where it's sad that we're not talking about a new Star Wars thing and reviewing it, especially a on-screen Star Wars thing. But the organic conversation, the news, the fun thoughts here and there, all over the place. It's been a good time. I'm looking forward to 2 weeks' time when we get to break down whatever else could happen in the galaxy far, far away. So for Milton, for Ben, for Chris, aka Star Raptor, that's going to do it for us here. May the Force be with you always. Go Eagles.